Hey mamas, today we're talking about how to breastfeed with inverted nipples. I know that this can be a struggle for a lot of people on getting a correct latch and a deep enough latch and also having enough milk output. So if you're struggling with this, then stick around. I'm Lacey, your lactation counselor, and I have been breastfeeding all of my babies for over 5 years now. And I've also been a lactation counselor for many, many years. So I have plenty of experience to talk about breastfeeding and getting a deep latch. So let's dive in. So about 10% of women do have flat or inverted nipples. This is also known as retracted nipples. So this can be a struggle, but this does not mean that you cannot breastfeed. So it just takes a little bit more practice and patience to get things going. And today we're going to get into some tips on how to easily latch your baby and maybe even draw it out so you can easily breastfeed and latch in the future. So how do you even know if you have an inverted nipple or a flat nipple? So if you notice, if you are pinching it and it is still remaining level or even inverts, then it will be a flat or inverted nipple. So you can always try to coax it out before you get your baby to latch. So how does this affect breastfeeding? So it can easily affect breastfeeding. It can affect the latch. So if your baby's not able to get a deep enough latch, that means that they're not going to get enough breast milk. They're not efficiently getting out the breast milk that they need, and that can affect your supply quite a bit. It also can deal with cracked nipples or just chafed nipples. It can be a really painful process when you do not have a correct latch. So make sure that your baby is having a deep enough latch. This means that they should have the breast in their mouth, not just the nipple itself. So that is the most important thing, that you are getting a deep enough latch. So make sure their mouth is open wide. You're aiming at the roof of their mouth, not just the back of their mouth. And you are making sure their lips are flared out and that you're compressing the breast. So here is a way that you can make sure that your baby is going to get as much as they can if you're struggling with getting that latch. So one way is using your thumbs and pulling back the breast tissue. So if you're having your thumbs on each side and putting pressure on your breast, just gently pull them back and that will be able to have your nipple protrude more. Another thing is getting in the right position. So a lot of mamas love the laid back breastfeeding position. I talk about that in great detail of how to do that in another video for a few videos back. So go ahead and look into that if you guys need help with that. So it is great for getting a deeper latch if you guys are struggling with that. So definitely worth trying out. Also, you can use a breast pump. So you can get a breast pump at any store, or you can even have your health insurance pay for this. And this will help bring the nipple out. And if you would like, and also boost your supply, right? Because you're getting that extra demand. And then you can build up your supply in your freezer stash, which is great. You can also use other suction devices. So there are some things that are made just to draw out the nipple. There are like nipple extractors and retractors. So all kinds of things that will help you. But over time, these will help loosen that nipple tissue, which will help you in the long run. And then you can also hand express. So if you're hand expressing, this will soften. If you're like super engorged and you have a flat or inverted nipple, this is going to be so hard for that baby to latch on. Imagine if you have like a big balloon and this baby is trying to latch onto the balloon. It's just not going to happen, right? So you need to have it a bit like taking the air out almost so you can compress that balloon to put your mouth on it. So same thing. So if you hand express, you're going to be able to let some milk out so that you can have that more compression to fit more breast into your baby's mouth. Or you can also just use a hand pump if that's working. But a hand express, you're going to use a C shape on your hand and gently draw the milk out yourself, and that will soften the breast. It will help bring the nipple forward, and it will also bring your baby, making them want to latch because they smell the breast milk. You can also use breast shields or shells. And so These are like nipple shields if you've ever had them. They are like a little piece of silicone and they look like they just have a little bump on it. So you can stretch that out and pull it onto your breast before you nurse. I will let you know that this is a short-term solution. This is not a long-term solution. It will help them draw them out and it will help your baby latch, but it does not help with an efficient milk transfer. So it can affect your supply in the long run. So I definitely don't recommend this as if you're normal. This is not something that you're using on a regular basis. But if it's something that you're in a pinch and you're trying to draw it out, maybe you can just put it on and then in the middle of the session, you can take it out. And then you can also just stimulate your nipple just by using your thumb and your forefinger, or you can use a cold towel and that will help it to draw out. And you can also just hold your breast and you can compress it, right? So the more you compress, the more the baby can fit in their mouth. So if you are still having these problems, absolutely talk with a lactation consultant and they can help you and get some one-on-one help, or you can always talk with me. And then always make sure that your baby is having the right output so that you know they're having enough input, right? So make sure they're having enough soiled diapers, enough wet diapers, and then you know that they are having enough breast milk. So anyway, let's go over what we've talked about, a quick recap. So breastfeeding with flat nipples is totally possible. It might be difficult for some women, but it's completely difficult. In many cases, this isn't an issue and nobody has any problems. So I would love to hear from you guys. How did that go? Has anything helped you guys working on the breastfeeding and the latch? I'd love to hear in the chat. All right, talk to you guys later. Bye. Thanks so much, guys. I look forward to